Okay, so as soon as you start your Android Studio, you will be getting this screen. I would recommend when you're done with your project, make sure you close the project and come here. Android Studio has other IDEs. It has option to uh, import the project which is developed by another Android Studio or Eclipse. So you can import them also. But as of now, we'll see whatever other options of Android Studio as it required. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. Name. So make sure your package name is unique across all your exercises. So in this case, the package name though contains some sort of prefix. Say it's not going to be. It's going to be unique because the last one it takes from the application name. If you want to change your project path, you can change it. Otherwise, leave the defaults. Go ahead with the defaults. And I already recommended keeping 2.2 as a standard lowest minimum SDK to support. In fact, we can increase it because 2.2 itself is obsolete nowadays. But maybe there may be some devices still using 2.2. Anything goes lower than 2.2 versions, we are not going to support. Remember, Android right now has the highest one released is 5.0. So we notice these are all the Android version has come across, and various version has come 1.02. Today we are into 5.0, and typically Android follows a tradition of naming their versions into pastries or some sort of. Looks like they have some sort of uh, convention for it. So it started with the cupcake, donut eclairs, and froyo, gingerbread, honeycomb, and it went. Now we are into lollipop or something like that. In fact, there were desperate attempts from Indian developers to name it as Laddu. Actually, we couldn't make it because the L. Why don't large chunks of developers are coming from India? So we gave a name, but I don't know. Okay, next attempt is being made, but I'm not sure about what's the name. So next, so I'm going to select the blank activity. It's going to create some sort of blueprint for me, but I'll go through them once it is created. So I'm not going to touch anything, but it has a lot of fields saying that activity name, layout name, title, menu resource name, what are all they? Of course, that's actually forms learning. The part of learning of Android development. So we're going to see them one by one. It's getting created. First time when the project is created, it has to do various steps. You need to create files, folder system. So it does the job. We have to make sure Android Studio prepares everything good without any errors. So just keep an eye on it. The warnings, the Gradle executing some task, and the rendering. See, this kind of warning should go away. Everything should settle down. So then we can assume okay, everything went well. Uh, so in Android Studio, I end up seeing a couple of folders here, primarily separated into three categories. One being manifest, another being folder name Java, and another one having a letters called RES. So RES stands for resource. So, and under that there are a couple of other folders exist, but I'll try to give you a brief overview of what are all they. Android manifest is the entry point for your Android application. Java virtual machine, or what you call Dalvik virtual machine in this case, gets a reference or maybe getting an idea about memory allocation after seeing the manifest. Let me put slightly larger. This Android Studio pretty helpful and has a lot of features. In fact, it has a presentation mode, so we can simply think about only presenting it. So it looks like a XML format. Most of the configurations in Android, typically we define it through an XML format. It's not something quite innovative only for Android. This has been one of our oldest trick we often use across all the Java-based development. So configuration file or a web INF file you may have noticed quite a lot. So this XML is the first one where the Dalvik virtual machine gets an idea about your project. It means how many screens your application contains, or how many background process your application contains, or how many broadcast receiver your application contains. So I gets an idea about it from here and then allocate processors or memory based on this. So any attempt to add a new screen, you have to make sure the same has been registered or declared here, so that Dalvik virtual machine or any other code which is responsible to bring the UI into foreground will identify it. Okay, so sufficient memory could be allocated. So if you notice, there is some sort of thing which probably gives us an idea. The package name which was showing in the very beginning, the package name should be very important. I don't want this part to be touched after once it is created, unless it is required. I don't want to touch that at all. And application tag, there are a couple of things are there, but the real part, what we are going to see, the tag which is having a name called activity. I was talking about the three major categories I would like to share with you on Android development. One particular thing was activity. Activity is a class, a part of Android SDK. SDK is nothing but set of classes written for you to give an access to an operating system through proper channel. So it means set of files, classes, libraries, or whatever way you can conclude. So activity is one such a file. So one such a Java class, but this particular class quite unique because it actually has access to a display system. So it has whatever UI you need to write. What you can do, you can inherit something from a class called activity and create your own activity. So that's again a basic object oriented programming technique. If you have a class, a fully qualified class, or maybe an abstract class also, you can inherit it into your class and you can create your own class by inheriting everything from the particular base class. So in this case, activity is going to be a base class. The one such a activity or a class created by inheriting everything from a class called activity is called main activity, and it's been written in such a way. Couple of intent filter as of now, let it be, we just keep them in default, but of course we will edit them wherever required, and we'll see if any requirement comes to edit these things. So I'm going to leave it. We cannot exit presentation. Okay. So another one, the folder called Java, that's where your class resides. So if you notice the structure of this class, the class name is main activity. You hope you remember while we create a new project, it was asking something, what's the name of your activity. In fact, we just left, we haven't changed anything, but the name was actually main activity. Extends some action bar activity, and then a couple of codes are there. I'm going to simplify this for our better understanding. Maybe I'll get rid of these kind of things, so start from the scratch and then I'll inherit everything. But if you look, all other method which has got implemented here having a override annotation clearly tells it is not part of this main activity itself. It may be a part, of course it's a part of the action bar activity, which is a parent method, because the override annotation clearly tells this method has been implemented in parent, uh, where it is getting modified or the change of behavior or some additional lines being added in this class. So this override annotation clearly tells us. and there are create menu optionals, other stuffs are there. Okay, so this is one such a class. Another folder called we say as resource mean the property mean physical material, you may assume, which is going to be used in your application, mean your design, your layout, and your pictures, maybe some sort of constants or colors, themes, whatever you use in your application, we are going to put it here. So this resource mean some sort of properties which is going to get going to be used in your UI, and accordingly it has further subcategories having a drawable. Drawable mean anything related to images, or almost all the images we are going to keep it in the folder called drawable. Layout, design. Um Design we are going to do using XML in this case. So those files are going to be kept here. Any menus mean, if you notice, I'll open the emulator, then I'll let you know where the menu could come. So anything specific to menus, we are going to keep it here. That's also an XML formatted one. And the last one is of values, where that's again a XML file, but all constants we are going to declare here. Constants mean anything you use in your application to display, including your application name also. And it helps us to separate certain constant used in our application. So the primary usage, maybe I can add various language support. So I can define a constant for English, I can define a constant for Spanish, I can define a constant for Hindi, or whatever language is supported. So based on the language selection of the device, the respective constants or text would be displayed on your app. So automatically the app will have a local native languages supported if you provide, of course. So this kind of resources kept separately in the folder called resource. Of course, we are going to see them in detail as our application grows. And time to file the emulator also. So I'll have my emulator ready, because that's going to keep it's going to be a time taking process. So I'll have my emulator started. Meanwhile, I change my code.